SOP 251. Today we're talking about the new Wizzard Media premium podcast subscription service.
It's the School of Podcasting's morning announcements. Here's Dave Jackson.
Podcasting since 2005. I am your personal podcast coach, Dave Jackson, thanking you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to little old me as we talk about everything podcasting, from planning to promoting to producing. And today we're talking monetization. In other words, making some moolah with your podcast with our buddy Rob Walsh from Wizzard Media. We'll get to that interview in just a second. I wanted to, if you use a Droid, I thought I would tell you, I've been using this thing called Beyond Pod app, and it allows you to update your podcasts. In other words, I no longer have to use iTunes, and I can actually download podcasts on the fly. I don't have to worry about going back and syncing. There's another one called Dog Catcher that I haven't tried yet. So if you are a Droid user, an Android phone, Android tablet kind of thing, and you're like me, you're running all over the place, and you're like, I got to go home and sync my iPod. It's a cool way to kind of cut the tie to iTunes. And speaking of that, I want to give a shout-out. I'm not a big shout-out kind of guy, but Daniel J. Lewis over at Noodle.mx was talking about, he had my ears burning. He was talking about podcasts, about podcasting, but he also mentioned that, and I saw this at the Blueberry blog as well, that iTunes has cut the ability to ping iTunes, which is a great tool for podcasters. And I will put a link out in the show notes where we all need to band together. I've already sent my email to the customer service people saying, hey, bring that feature back. Now, why? Because if you ever if you ever had any problem with iTunes, you could basically ping it. It would show you what RSS feed that iTunes was using. It would give you your number, all sorts of other things. It was really, really handy. And now you can kind of get the RSS feed it's using, but you have to subscribe to the podcast. You have to go in and right-click on the name of the podcast, and I believe go to Get Info, and it'll show you that. So you can still kind of get that information, but it was just a really handy tool for podcasters, not so much podcast listeners, but podcasters, the content creation people, and Apple has taken that away. All right, next up we have an interview with Rob Walsh from Wizzard Media. If you've been a long-time listener to the podcast, you know I'm a big fan of Libsyn, which is one of the companies that Wizzard Media owns, and I'm a big Libsyn fan. That you can actually, if you go out to the schoolofpodcasting.com, you can buy the School of Podcasting app. I get that through Wizzard Media, and they've always really been about making podcasting easier from the very beginning back in 2004. Been a big Libsyn fan, not only for the tools they provide, but for their customer service. They are people that just peel back the curtain and say, this is what we're doing, and in the event they ever made a mistake, which really there aren't that many, back in the beginning, all podcasting had growing pains. They were just so forthright with, hey, here's what we're doing, and here's how this isn't going to happen in the future. And really, for me, since 2005, they've just been awesome. So I'm a huge Libsyn fan, and they have launched a new premium podcast subscription service. And rather than tell you about it here, I'm going to just go to our interview. Now, here's the interesting thing. In last week's episode, I talked about freeconferencecalling.com, and I actually ended up using it for this interview. I was emailing with Rob, and it turned out we had a very small open window where we could actually both get to do this interview. So I said, well, let's go ahead and do this. I wasn't able to get back to my computer, so I'm actually on my cell phone calling in, and we recorded this at freeconferencecalling.com. And of course, the audio that you get is basically about half the quality of what I normally would. So it's okay for voice, but you will see that it's definitely, this is kind of, without getting too geeky, if this was a paint job, okay, if I was painting a wall at a house, I've only got half as much paint on my brush as I usually do. And you know how sometimes you have a wall that doesn't, the paint doesn't stick to it? It's basically AM radio quality with half as much oomph. I think that's what the technical term I'll use here in the recording. So it's not horrible. It's not Blog Talk Radio horrible, but it's going down that path. But definitely, I think Rob was on a mic. He actually sounds better than I do. And if you ever wonder, that's my whole thing. As I'm listening to this, I'm like, really? Because I was using my Droid phone, and I really, really sound like I'm on a cell phone in this. So anyway, with that, here is the interview, and I'll chat a little more at the other side of it.
All right, well, joining me on the show he's been here a couple times. He's back again. He is the VP of Podcast Relations for Wizzard Media and Libsyn. It's good buddy Rob Walsh. Thanks for coming on the show, Rob.
Dave, thanks for having me.
And yet another feather in the cap here over at Wizzard and Libsyn. I know I always enjoy now getting my reports on how many apps I've sold. But you have a new feature now for people to monetize their podcast, and why don't you just tell us a little bit about that?
It's a premium offering, but it's a premium website offering where you can then also release content. You can release your audio and video content so people only have access to it via a web browser. So it's not a premium RSS feed where people have to then go and figure out what to do with their RSS feed. This is something they just come in with any browser, which most people are used to doing, and they sign up for a monthly subscription, which is recurring, or they can sign up for a yearly subscription. And that allows them to have access to premium posts. It could be a blog post. It can be audio or video content you release just to that premium page. And it integrates in with your Libsyn account if you already have a Libsyn account. If you already have the main page, your blog page as your main page, we'll create a second page for you. That's the premium. So you can have a free page, and you can also have the paid page. If you've got your own website, but you're using Libsyn for hosting, then we can create up just the premium page, and you can just link to it from your main page, send people to it for the premium content. And you don't have to be a podcaster either. If you're a blogger, this is a nice way. You can sign up for the $5 a month Libsyn plan and just use it for blog posts.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because I was looking at, because you partner with a company, I think it's called MediaPass, right?
Correct.
And when I first looked at it, I was trying to figure out how to separate your website from, or basically how to block all of your content and just keep some of it free and some of it paid for, and that makes sense. If it's tied into your Libsyn account, you can just send them over to this special page that's tied into your Libsyn account. Is that basically how that works?
Correct. And what a lot of people are doing or talking about doing is that, say you have a lot of content, you have a bunch of content, and you can go ahead and say on your public RSS feed, the one that people see in iTunes, you can make the last 20 or 25 or 26, or you pick whatever number it is, available on your RSS feed, and that's it. And then once you get X number of episodes, the old episodes fall off, but the premium subscribers would have access to all your back catalog. So that's kind of what Mark Maron's doing with his. So
very cool.
X amount of episodes, and then it's automatic. So you can just publish it up. When you go to release your episode, you release it to the destination for the website, you release it to the destination for the premium page, and it just automatically will come off your free RSS feed when you hit when it hits the number 21 episode in your feed, or whatever number you set it to.
So there actually is a premium RSS feed then?
Well, it's not a premium RSS feed. It's not. No. So think of this as it's a premium web page. So people would go
premium web page. Okay. So right. A person, let's say I'm a premium subscriber. Now I basically go to this website. I'm assuming I'm going to have some sort of login name and password, or?
Right. You would log in. You sign up for the service. You pay, and then when you go back, it'll remember you, or you can just log back in again.
Gotcha. And then I can just at that point I just download all the files and they're mine, or do I have?
No. See, that what we're doing with this is you can make it where if you want to have the URL where people can download that content from your web page, you can. We also have a HTML5 version page that we can do like we do with Mark Maron, where the only thing that people can do is play it from that page. So they're not able to download the content, the older content. So some people like to resell that content. So you as the producer, you have the choice. You can make it available for download, or you can choose to have it just where they can stream it and play it there. Another
this is cool because go ahead. Well, I just know some people are always nervous about, oh my gosh, if I'm selling my content and people can download it, then they're just going to throw it on, LimeWire or whatever, file sharing service, and or they're going to share it with all their friends. So if you have that concern, that's a completely personal choice. At least now you have the ability, okay, if I don't want to let people download, you have that option. If you do want to let people download, you can. So that's cool that you have that option.
Like with Mark Maron, one of the things he's doing too, and I'm doing this I'm doing the service for the Today on iPhone podcast as well, is you can also release premium content or extra content that's only available to the premium subscribers. So you can have, in Mark's case, he does a couple extra episodes a month that are just available if you're a premium subscriber. In my case, I'm going to do some extra audio or video, but I'm also going to do blog posts on a daily basis. So people are going to get blog posts with Q&A, and they can ask me questions, and I'll answer those questions there. So,
awesome. Now, if it was on let's say you have your own website, I guess that's the thing. When you're doing a blog post on this premium page, is that, I guess because it's a Libsyn account, a Libsyn you can always do either a podcast or you can do a blog post. I've always used it just for podcasting, but I always forget there is the option if you just want to do a blog post. You can do that with your Libsyn account as well.
Correct. And, you can have up, links up to PDF. You can upload other content just like you normally would any post. So you can make all this extra bonus content available just to the premium subscriber. So it's a way, obviously you want to offer good value as a podcaster to your end users if you're going to offer a premium offering. And this is a good way to do it. This is a way to do it easily because you can manage it all right within your Libsyn account. So it's the same place you're already uploading. You can pick where that content goes, when it goes live on different things. You can even set up with our system, you can set up your episodes to go live one day earlier, X amount of hours or X amount of days earlier than it goes up on your free feed. So if you want to, you have your content available to the premium people first.
Oh, that's cool. And then if I'm a premium person, how do I know there's a new episode? Do I just have to keep coming back and checking? Or?
Well, that's going to be something you're going to have to have that. If you have an email notification that goes out, or if you just tell people when you're going to be releasing it, or if you're releasing content on a regular basis, that it'll depend on how you normally communicate with your audience.
Well, that's where, too, you could have a blog post on your premium page where you have, if you're using an email service like Aweber or whatever, you could actually have a form there so you can have an email list for your premium people.
Right, and you can you could just put in a blog post for comments where they add comments, and you can answer the comments. And the only place where you have that comment field would be located behind the premium wall. And
there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. To make it even
very
easier.
Cool.
Anyone that comments on that blog post, I know they got behind the premium wall, so those are ones I'll answer and treat with a little bit higher priority.
Now, if I have a big back catalog, I've just been using Libsyn for hosting. Do I then go back to those posts on my website and delete them and just keep them? Because I already have those basically posted in Libsyn, but I also post them on my website. Do I just delete them then, or how do I? That would be up to you how you would do that. Because otherwise, people, if they wanted to, they could go back and go older post, which most people I think would. I would just appreciate the convenience of not having to go through 37 pages to get on back catalog. And then, is there any kind of extra cost to implement this?
There's no cost. We do a revenue share, obviously, on the subscriptions. That's our business model there. You, as the producer, get 60%. 20% goes to Wizzard, and 20% goes to MediaPass.
There you go. And then, do I have to? I guess if I want to get involved with this, do I have to sign up at MediaPass, or do I just go through my Libsyn account? I'm already
Go through Libs. Yeah, you have to go through Libsyn to do this, and we're going to be adding it in. It'll be part of your user interface shortly. You'll be able to sign up right away from your user interface. But in the meantime, if you're interested in doing this, have people send an email to rob@wizzard.tv, WIZZARD.tv. So rob@wizzard.tv, and I can work with you. Just let me know your Libsyn account, and if you're not a Libsyn user yet and you want to sign up, just let me know what your account is once you sign up, and we'll get it set up behind the scenes. Eventually, we're going to have it where the UI, you can do everything, and it'll do it automatically. And we'll be adding some other features in the future. Right now, we'll be setting up people's accounts behind the scenes for them.
Oh, cool. All right. Are there going to be any kind of stats to know how many premium people you have? Yes.
Yeah, you'll be able to get to see how many people are signed up and all that, and we'll be adding that into your interface. But you'll see how many people are getting sign-ups.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, anything else we should know? But it sounds like it sounds fairly easy. I mean, you've taken all the kind of setup and configuration. It's basically all built in right there to your Libsyn back end. Because I actually have a MediaPass account, and I actually called them yesterday because there are parts of it that I found a little confusing with price testing and all this other stuff, and it sounds like you've kind of taken all that kind of guesswork out of it, which makes it even easier.
Right. And you get to set the pricing, by the way. You say what you want for the pricing and all that, and we'll get, you say what you wanted. I'm doing that for myself. I'm doing a monthly $4.99 for a month or $39.99 for a year, and I think I have some other middle one in there for 6 months sign up. Different people will have different price points. Depends on how much work you plan to put into it. You'll price it accordingly and see what your audience says. But we think this is a nicer way to make revenue than say, advertising, because it's going to be a little bit more consistent. You're going to have your audience base, and they're going to be there all the time. And if you're offering them something of value, a lot of people are talking about premium seems to be the way to go, and we think this is a very easy way for them to sign up and get you some extra revenue.
Well, and even if you didn't want to put a lot of work into it, you could have a premium account and just have your back catalog. So you haven't done any extra work. You're just selling access to the old stuff.
Right.
That would at least get, I don't know how that would work on a long-term basis, because somebody could just sign up, get your old stuff, and say, okay, thank you, and we're gone. But that's where, like what you're doing, where you're creating additional content that's going to keep people sticking around. But even if you weren't really interested and you just wanted to try it, that would be one model you could try. It's like, well, let's just put the old stuff out there and see what happens that way. So,
yeah,
go ahead.
I'd always recommend to have some extra something in there for the premium subscribers, not just the back catalog, but in some cases, the back catalog may be fine enough. I mean, you have shows like Radio Adventures, Dr. Floyd. They've done very well selling their back catalog. They're not with us, but it just is an example.
Well, there you go. And then if I wanted to sell, I guess, is there the ability to sell like per episode? If I wanted to,
that's something that we're going to work in the future. That'll be part of, if you sign up with us, we're going to make that as something that's going to be available. That just is a little bit more coding down the line.
Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to explain this. That actually makes a lot more sense, because I know when I first investigated this, it seemed I didn't get it. So this has turned the light bulb on for me. And again, if anybody has any questions, where can they get in contact with you?
Just email me, rob@wizzard.tv, WIZZARD.tv. And that's ROB, Rob.
All right, man. And, of course, you might as well plug your podcast while you're here.
If you want to check out my podcast, you can go to todayinios.com, todayinios.com, or todayiniphone.com. Either one will get you to my site. And you also, if you want to get to my premium page, you can go to today and go to actually tii.libsyn.com/VIP. So tii.libsyn.com/VIP. If you want to see how it looks with the page being blocked before you pay.
Get to see it live and in action. So.
Well, Dave, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Always a pleasure.
Likewise.
That's going to do it for this edition. And again, thanks to Rob. Everything we talked about will be out in our website. Again, that's schoolofpodcasting.com. You can just go to shownotes.schoolofpodcasting.com. And he was talking about, the back catalog. If you're thinking, well, why would anybody pay for something that they can get for free? If you think about it, if you go to shownotes.schoolofpodcasting.com, I have every episode, all 250 whatever episodes are up there. And if you want to get to them all, you just have to keep clicking older episode, download, 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 older episode, download, download, down. So this is going to make it a way to where you could have all of your back catalog in one easy to digest location. And I could see where people go, you know what, my time's valuable. I don't want to sit here all day and go older episode, older episode, older episode, and it will take the hassle out of that. So it's worth a shot. It doesn't cost you anything as well, which is a beautiful thing. So I would love to hear your feedback. Email me, dave@schoolofpodcasting.com. Call in your comments, courtesy of podcastvoicemail.com. It's 888-563-3228. And again, if you'd like to start a podcast, because you can't sell your back catalog, you can't sell premium content unless you have a podcast to start with, or, I guess, a blog, as Rob had mentioned as well. Come on out to the schoolofpodcasting.com, click on the join button. There's all sorts of different varieties of ways you can sign up. You can sign up for a day, you can sign up for a week, you can sign up for a month, you can sign up for a year if you want. All out at the schoolofpodcasting.com. And until we meet next week, class is dismissed.